Time for a game called More or Less with numbers provided by ESPN Bet. Kevin Clark, Aaron Rodgers, 3,200.5 passing yards, going more or less.
I'm going way over. Mike Tannenbaum is giving me a thumbs down. I don't understand. He had 3,800 last year. He's going to be a competent offense around him. DK Metcalf is going to have a lot of targets. I like him in this offense.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, you know, he's going to have to play all 17 games and hold off
Will Howard. Yeah, that's why you're giving a thumbs down. He has Will Howard taken over by Halloween.
Harry Douglas, 24.5 passing touchdowns for Dak Prescott. You going more or less?
Yeah, I'm going more. When you look at the addition of George Pickens, you already had CeeDee Lamb, tight end Jake Ferguson. And don't sleep on rookie running back Jayden Blue, who had 42 receptions, over 360 yards, and 6 touchdowns receiving at Texas last year. Dak Prescott is going to be on a tear this season because he has a lot he wants to prove.
All right, Mike T, earlier this offseason, the tush push survived an assassination attempt. Jalen Hurts with 10.5 rushing touchdowns, more or less.
Way more.
Wow.
Exact reason, Bryce. Philadelphia knows that this play may not even be legal in a year or two. They are going to maximize their opportunity to do it at least one more season. They will push in the preseason, the regular season, the postseason, mini camps. We're looking at 14, 15, 16 rushing touchdowns.
Saquon Barkley was tackled at the 1-yard line 11 times last year. That turned into 10 Jalen Hurts touchdowns. You got to give some CDs to the running back this year. You got to. That's why I'm going under here.
They gave him a new contract.
No, I know.
That's
That's my favorite.
Right?
The touchdowns. Here's millions of dollars instead.
Anyway, the Eagles obviously trying to repeat as Super Bowl champions, something the Chiefs just did a couple of years ago. No one's even repeated as NFC East champions in 21 years. Our Sal Palantonio here with the latest on the Birds' quest to repeat.
The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59.
In his quest to be a repeat champion, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts went straight to the source, seeking counsel from Michael Jordan.
You know, as competitive as he is, it'd be unwise of me not to seek knowledge from him and lean on someone like that. It's something that I value a lot.
But to be like Mike, Hurts will have to do it with a new offensive coordinator. Kevin Patullo is the 6th play caller in Hurts' ear in 6 years.
He hurdles a guy backwards.
Returning 10 of 11 starters back from last season's record-setting offense will help. So will the security of knowing head coach Nick Sirianni recently signed a multi-year extension.
I told him I'm done when he's done. I don't know how long his extension is, but...
On the other side of the ball, the defending champs lost 4 defensive starters. The Eagles also have the toughest increase in schedule difficulty from one year to the next in the Super Bowl era, playing 11 games against opponents that made the playoffs last season, making matters more complicated for a possible Super Bowl repeat.
The Eagles, they look awesome. Obviously, there's a lot to like about that team. A lot of reasons to pick them to repeat as division champions, if not Super Bowl champions. But Sal raised some of the concerns in that piece. What do you think is the Eagles' biggest obstacle to a repeat championship?
Roz, losing 5 quality defensive players and starting the back end, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, then up front, really good players in Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Brandon Graham. Now look, they have drafted extremely well and they've developed young players on defense. But when you lose 5 players on one side of the ball, the margin for error for that developmental progress is very small. I think they will meaningfully contend, but that is a big hurdle to overcome, guys.
Harry, what do you got when you look at the Eagles? What could do them in if they end up not repeating? What would be the reason?
I'm going to go with offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. And I want to go back to 2024, the year they just won the Super Bowl, right? The first 4 games of the year, they were 2-2. And Jalen Hurts in each one of those games either threw the ball 30 or 30 or more times. Kellen Moore understood that, okay, that had to go down a little bit. We need to run the football, lean on Saquon Barkley, lean on our offensive line. Now with Kevin Patullo coming in being the offensive coordinator, is he going to realize that, hey, I need to play towards my team's strengths and not towards their weaknesses? Is he going to run the football? Is he going to get pass happy? All these things are some of the things I'm looking forward to when the Eagles start the season off the first game of the year versus the Dallas Cowboys.
For me, it's all of the above. You mentioned the players that they lost. Well, what if some of these young guys, Keely, Ringo, Mukuba, what if they're not up to the elite level that the rest of the roster is up to right away? You look at the offensive coordinator, as Harry said. I look at it as 2 years ago, they flopped on the coordinator hires. That set them back an entire year. Nick Sirianni, I think he might lose his job over it in 2023. Obviously, he recovered in 2024. But to me, I just think they have the best GM in football. They have a head coach who knows how to put it all together. By the way, Mike T gave Howie Roseman his first recommendation in the NFL. So we have, if you hate the Philadelphia Eagles, you might have Mike T to blame. But I just really think they're a sharp team.
Throwing Mike T under the bus there.
Hey, he's good at it. Good eye.
Those are the internal concerns. Let's talk about the other teams, the teams that could knock them off. Harry, when you look at Super Bowl contenders other than the Eagles, what teams do you have in mind?
Yeah, so I'll start in the NFC. I will go with the Detroit Lions. Also, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. In the AFC, you have the Chiefs, of course. You have the Baltimore Ravens. And you have the Buffalo Bills. Those are the teams I deem as Super Bowl contenders in the NFL right now currently.
How about you, Kevin?
All right, so we know the AFC teams. In the NFC, it's Lions, Rams, Eagles. I'm going to throw the Packers in there. I have to. I picked them to make the Super Bowl last year. Maybe it's kind of an honorary pick here from last
stubbornness.
year. Stubbornness, incompetence, whatever you want to call it. But no, I just really think that they're able. Matthew Golden addressing the way he's going to be able to stretch the field there. I think Jordan Love, healthy. I think the injury last year in September in Brazil set them back an entire year. I think we're going to be able to see a leap here from the Packers. Matt LaFleur, I think, is one of the best coaches in football. I love this franchise.
You know, the one team we're not talking about, guys, is Tampa Bay. I'm mentioning them for a few reasons, principally because Jason Light, your GM, watches the show every day.
He does.
But,
he does?
Yeah.
He does.
Hi, Jason.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, when you think about what they've done, winning the division out 3 consecutive years, and Baker Mayfield's played really well there the last couple of years under Todd Bowles.
Yeah, I mean they've been outstanding. They haven't gotten past that early playoff hurdle, but you know maybe one of these years. Harry's looking at a Falcon. Is he going to start making bird noises like he does sometimes in the video?
Wow.
I don't know, man. Wait, Harry, you had an opportunity to bring them up.
Not yet.
I mean, you were asked, but you didn't put them on your list. So, so we'll see about Michael Penix Jr. When we come back.
Bây giờ mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn. Chậm như đối vẹn.